Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jay from TNJ, and welcome to Season 3 here in the New Orleans Kings franchise as we kick this season off, well, I think much improved over last season. Our pitching staff will look like this. It's really interesting because, I don't really know how the bottom of our rotation is going to be, but Teddy Polititis right now was penciled in as that number 5 starter. We're going to carry a lot of pitchers this year, and the reason being is because I think we ran into some bullpen issues when it came to the playoffs. I want to at least test it out carrying a bunch of pitchers early on in the season. Maybe later we can switch it up. Now let's see who makes the squad for the opening day roster on the offensive side of the ball. Justin Thompson will lead us off in center field. There's no surprise there. David Bodie and Carlos Santana, who we traded for in the offseason in that trade with Marcus Semien. It was offered to us. Michael Brantley does hit in the 5-hole. He is our new left fielder for the time being. And then Corey Lee at catcher. Jake Cave is in front of him. But the surprise of the starting lineup is Nate Barron gets the start at second base. Now, he will start at second, and Yanni Hernandez will start at short. Nate Barron had an amazing spring, and Yanni is a young guy in our organization. He is 23 years old. He's got great speed. I love the reaction, and that's the main thing that keeps him at short. And then looking at our bench, Reese McGuire, Scooter Gennett will move to the bench. He will platoon at second for now. And then Billy Hamilton, Raimel Tapia, and then Jeremy Pena makes the opening day roster, but it's for a different reason. I did not think he was ready to make it to the MLB, but he has all of his options used up, so I don't want to risk losing him in waivers. Other guys are on waivers right now that I had to move down, but I did not want to risk losing Pena because he is a potential guy. A team would easily want to scoop him up. So in the opening day matchup, we will have the Detroit Tigers versus New Orleans Kings. It's going to be Matthew Boyd versus Pablo Lopez. And we are playing at our new home stadium, Miami. I'm going to try it out and see how I like it. So let's hop into the first at-bat of this season. And it's going to be a strike 3 by Nico Goodrum. He swings that one out of the zone as we get 2 outs in the inning, and that brings up Jorge Soler, who is really tough to face in this game, and he's just looking on the outside part of the strike zone. That is a curveball, strike 3, and now up comes our lineup as Justin Thompson leads us off for the first time on the opening day roster, and he's going to pop up to center field, and that one is going to be run down by Daz Cameron. And with 1 out, that brings up David Bodie with the 3-2 count. He swings that one on the inside part, but it's just popped behind the plate. So 2 outs here early on, and that brings up the new acquisition in Carlos Santana on a 1-year deal worth approximately $11 million. He swings that one out of the zone, and he hits one to left field. If he can do that a lot, that is going to be very, very useful because we're not perfect swinging the bat, and we will need hits like that. And he gets the first hit of this campaign. So here comes Jesus Aguilar. He gets a hanger right over the middle, and he just barely misses it. It's a pop-up to left field, and that is going to bring us to the second inning as Chris Shaw leads it off for the Tigers. He hits one down the left field line, and that one is going to be fair. It gets all the way to the wall. Brantley fields it off the wall. It comes up throwing, but a leadoff double here for the Tigers in the second. And now that brings up Jake Rogers with 1 out in the 6th hole. He gets a pitch on the outside part of the plate and goes with it. And now guys on the corners here with 1 out. As now we're in trouble. A ground ball will end this inning, though, as that brings up Encarnacion to the plate. He hits one to the left side, and that one is going to be his first career hit and his first career RBI. This is Edwin Encarnacion's little brother, and he gets his first major league action here in the opening day start. So it's 1-0 for the Tigers. That brings up Daz Cameron with 2 outs, and he will ground out to second, and Nate Barron gets it over to Aguilar as it's 1-0 as we move into the bottom of the second. Here is Jake Cave, who just went on a tear in the playoffs last season. He's watching that one, so now we got a guy on first base, and that brings up Corey Lee with 1 out, and he swings that one out of the zone. That's a fastball, and he tried to go to opposite field. And now Nate Barron comes up, who was the surprise of spring training, and gets the surprise opening day nod. So here with the man on first base. Let's see what he can do in his first at-bat. He swings that one low and goes with it. It drops into right field, and it gets all the way to the wall. It looks like it's going to score one, and Barron isn't stopping at second. He will round second and head to third, and that one will be a stand-up double and the first hit and RBI of the season. It goes to Nate Barron. Who would have thought last year that it would go to Nate Barron? I did not foresee him making the opening day roster. But that brings up Yanni Hernandez, who I really have high hopes for. He is a speedy second baseman, middle infielder, whatever you want to call him, and he flies out to left field, but we tie this game up at 1 apiece. That brings up Nico Goodrum, who leads off the third, and he drives one deep to right field, and it's going to sneak over the wall. It's a home run, and Goodrum reached for that one. That was an outside pitch, and he pulled it, and it's 2-1. That brings up Brett Netzer, one of the best hitters on the Tigers in my opinion. He goes to right field, and it does get past Justin Thompson in the gap. He plays it off the wall, but that alley in right field right there, that is definitely Triple's alley. It is a stand-up triple, as now they have a man on third base with one out, and their four-hitter Chris Shaw comes up, and he does stroke one to left field, and Brantley is on the run, and he will run it down, but he does not have the arm to get it to home. And it's 3-1 here in the third inning. Let's see if Lopez can get out of this inning, as that brings up Christian Stewart hitting in the 5-hole, and he is swinging and missing. And it is a 3-1 lead as we move on to the fourth inning. So that's going to bring up Jesus Aguilar to lead us off, and he is watching one. That's ball 4, so now we got a man on first base. Not much speed there, but now we get to take a chance to look at our new signing. It's Michael Brantley. He goes right up the box. It's through the infield. And now guys on first and second here. No outs in this inning. But then they do get the next batter out, as that brings up Corey Lee. He goes the opposite field, and it's driven deep and misplayed a little bit, and it is going to reach that wall in right field to that Triple's alley, I like to call it, and the relay will come home, and Brantley is going to slide in safe. 3-3 here with a man on third base, and we have Nate Barron coming up to bat. So you know he has started out his career with the leadoff triple, not a leadoff triple, but an RBI triple. And now with the 3-1 count, he does swing at a pitch in the zone, and it's just going to be a ground ball. But that's what you want. That's a 4-3 lead here for the Kings as this inning continues, and Yanni Hernandez comes up, the starting shortstop here to open this season, and he hits one to left, a base hit. So now a man on first. This inning is still not over, as the top of the lineup does roll over. Justin Thompson, who is 1 for 2 so far in this game. 3-2 count. The runner is on the move, and he does swing and miss. So that is going to be a nice comeback there in the fourth inning. So now we move on to the fifth, and here is Goodrum at the plate once again. He goes to left field actually with that one, and he hits away from the shift. So that is going to be an infield single, as that brings up Brett Netzer to the plate. He hits one to the right side, and that one does sneak through. So now guys on first and second with one out. Let's see if Pablo Lopez can get out of this one. So with a 3-2 count, Jorge Soler hitting in the 3-hole, drives it deep, and it does make it over the wall. And that is going to be a 6-4 lead here for the Detroit Tigers as we go to the bullpen, and we go to Jose Urquidy. Interesting. I did give him a spot in the rotation last season, but I think that he is more of a long reliever. He had played a couple of relief roles in the playoffs, and I think he did very, very, very well. So he will be in the bullpen this year. I could even use him as trade bait if I really, really needed it, but I think I like him in the bullpen. So now we move on to the sixth. He gets out of that jam, and here's Corey Lee at the plate, who goes to right field again. And a diving right fielder can't come up with that ball, and he throws a second, and the throw is offline. So a double and a triple here for Corey Lee in this game. But we do have a little bit of a ground to make up, and they bring in Kyle Funkhauser out of the bullpen. That is Boyd's last batter, and let's see if he can get out of this situation with the man on second base. Nate Barron at the plate again, pitch in the dirt, and Corey Lee is going to make it to third base, so just getting a base hit will score him from third. Let's see if Barron can do it. So 2-1 count, low pitch in the zone, and he just gets a little bit of wood on it, and it's a tapper right back to the mound, thrown to first, 3 outs, and Funkhauser does get him out of that jam. So now we move on to the 7th inning. Here is Yanni Hernandez. 2 hits to opposite field in this one. And there we go. Starting it out with the single here in the 7th inning. What I'm liking is that I'm seeing the bottom of our order hit well now. So that brings up David Bodie here with 1 out, 3-1 count with a man on first base. He just hits a slow roller to third, and it is just going to be thrown to first. So 2 outs here, man on second base. But you got to think a base hit will score Yanni. He's got 90 speed, and Carlos Santana hits one to right center, and it does drop in. The outfield was playing deep on that one. So 6-5 here in the 7th inning. We're very well in this game as this inning continues, and Jesus Aguilar comes to the plate. Let's see what he can do. 1-2 count. Swinging at a pitch out of the zone, and that's a curveball. And now we move on to the 8th inning. Here is Jose Urquidy still on the mound, and that's what I like. He can go those extended innings, as he does start out this one with a walk, though. That brings up Encarnacion, and he is just swinging and missing. And he did have that RBI, the first RBI of the Tiger season. And then that brings up the next batter, who goes up the middle in back-to-back hits. You got to think about pulling Urquidy at this point now, later in the game. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring in Ryan Stanek, who I actually debated being the closer. But if it wasn't for that trade offer we got with Brad Hand and Carlos Santana, he probably would be. So now here comes Cameron up to the plate, who hits one deep to left field. Michael Brantley's on the run, and he can't hold on to that one. It is going to be dropped. So an error by Michael Brantley. Now bases loaded, and that is going to bring up Nico Goodrum, who already went deep in this one. Here he swings that one low, and that one should have been the 3rd out of the inning. It's a strike 3, but this inning continues as Brett Netzer comes up, and it's going to be a walk. So we walk 1 runner in, and that's Rogers who crosses the plate, as that brings up Jorge Soler. 1-1 count, and Stanek makes a mistake, leaves it right over the middle, and Soler does not miss. That error by Michael Brantley definitely opened that home run up. I don't think that's Stanek's fault at all. He had a strikeout on the next batter. That one should have been 3 outs, only down still by 1 run. So now here comes Kyle Funkhauser back on the mound here in the 9th inning. Now they have a 13-5 lead. They scored 2 in the 9th as well, as that's Barron. He gets a hit to left field to start out this 9th inning. So that brings up Yanni Hernandez, who is 2 for 3 in this game, and he hits one hard up the middle. It does knock off of Funkhauser on the mound and throw him to first, and it's going to be an out. But 1 out here is that brings up the top of our lineup. This is Justin Thompson, who is 1 for 4 so far in this game, and it's just an easy ground ball thrown to first. So 2 outs here in the inning. David Bodie to the plate. He could potentially be the last batter of the game, but he does go to right field. He at least gets 1 back, 13-6. We have a long ways to go with 2 outs here in the 9th, and that brings up Carlos Santana. Let's see what he can do. Ground ball to second base, and an easy ground out. And no, it's overthrown. So now we have guys on second and third, and now the Tigers are like, all right, let's end this one. They bring in Gregory Soto to close this one out. It wouldn't be an official close because they're up by 7 runs. But Jesus Aguilar swings that one high, and that one will be the last out of the game. In Detroit, after that blunder of an inning in the 7th, after Brantley could not hold on, I am seriously already after 1 game considering maybe moving Brantley to DH instead, because I need a good fielder out and left, and that cannot happen. I mean, we're down by 1 run. It was a 1-run game, and then all of a sudden that error just opened everything up. That was the 8th inning, sorry. But we were in the game except for that one play. It's plays like that can swing games. But we'll bounce back. Nate Barron got the start. Yanni Hernandez got the start. 2 new starters that you probably didn't expect to see. I definitely didn't before this season started, before I went to into spring training. So we'll see how this season goes. I'm encouraged by the offense. So hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I be trying to do me, but they be trying to copy though. Only problem with that is they not me though. People act cool, but really they be shiesty though. They say they got your back, but they ain't even behind me though. I be low key, but police be trying to find me.